hello, and I'm here at the Swift Business Forum London 2013. I'm joined by Clare Flynn Levy from Essentia Analytics and Katie Millican, a fourth year Oxford student who've just delivered a really thought-provoking and interesting debate on gender diversity in the financial services. So thank you both for joining us here today. I first wanted to ask Katie a question about her career choice. You mentioned that you're coming to the end of your studies now and you are pursuing a career in the financial services. So could you tell us a little bit about what job you'll be pursuing and whether the debate on gender diversity has affected your choice in any way whatsoever? And after that, Claire, could you talk about your stance in the industry and how you think, what advice you'd give Katie for someone who's very, very well aware about the gender debate?
When I finish my degree, I'll be starting at PwC, which will be a 3-year accountancy training contract. Part of the reason I decided to go into that is because I didn't know what I wanted to do in the long term, but I thought I could get some business skills and do something that would really open some doors afterwards. I suppose gender issues did come into my choice a little bit because I was thinking, well, I might want to have a family at some point. I want to keep my options open. I might want to be, have flexible working. And I suppose I was told by a lot of people that kind of having a qualification in this sort of thing would make that easier in the future. But I mean, a lot of it was to do with just getting a good business grounding, which would hopefully allow me to do something when I've decided what I want to do afterwards.
Well, I think that the most important thing is that you figure out what you actually love doing and what you're good at as early as possible, but there's no massive rush on that. That will stand you in very good stead in your career in general, and that's not specific to women, that's just the case for everyone, I think. But as a woman, when you end up faced with choices around, timing of children and, do I leave, do I not? The people that I know who have found it easiest to drop out have been the ones that really don't enjoy what they're doing. And yet, after they drop out, they tend to wish that they were working. So they did enjoy working, just not at the thing that they built their career on. So if you can build your career on something that actually does tick that box for you, chances are you won't struggle to find a way to balance things. And if you do decide that you want to take time out, you won't have any problem going back into it.
So you were joined on your panel today by Helena Morrissey, who chairs the 30% Club. So my second question is really about quotas. In particular, if there were a mandated 30% quota in organisations, do you believe that would be an effective catalyst for change, and would that be helpful in getting more women into senior positions?
I agree with Helena that quotas are not the answer. I think that forcing people to do something where they don't actually understand why they're doing it, or they don't buy into it, is a recipe for failure. It will be a catalyst for change. You'll get 30% on boards, but will that actually really solve anything? Helena pointed out that in Norway, the result has been this sort of vacuum at the senior management level, just below boards, because everybody's been promoted and behind them, that gap's not being filled. I'd be more in favor of companies that are talking about diversity and say that they care about diversity, actually creating targets internally and holding senior management to them, communicating those targets throughout the organization and making KPIs be based on those targets just as they're based on sales targets and profits targets. And I believe that those companies will actually outperform. So the ones that don't buy into the concept of gender diversity as a business case will end up losing, and they'll find that it's uncompetitive for them to carry on that way.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think it should be more about targets rather than quotas. For one thing, I think quotas could come across a bit patronising if you're one of the token females on the board or whatever. Even if you don't have a problem with it, you may find that other people treat you a bit differently if that's what they see you as. But I think certainly, I think a lot of the issue is building the confidence lower down, and sort of from the start getting women feeling more confident about going for those positions. So yeah, I agree with what's been said.